helped her BFF get bigger breasts, but now she wants her money back.
If this is something that she wanted for a very long time, this is over 3.5 years she's been talking about this boob job, then you know what, I'm gonna make her dream come true.
So what happened? You gave her $5,000 in cash?
I gave her $5,000 in cash.
Who gives someone $5,000 in cash without getting a receipt, or why would you do that?
And later, her boyfriend bailed, leaving behind a broken heart and unpaid bills.
I came home from work and Brian was gone. He moved his stuff and he was not home and he moved out.
Why would you do that?
I had enough. It was a lot of things going on with me at the time.
So you just left?
Yes.
No warning, no note, you just packed up your things and left?
That's correct.
Like a coward?
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Brandis Bogg says her former medical marijuana dispensary employee begged her to cover the cost of breast augmentation surgery and then refused to pay her back. She's suing for an unpaid loan. Defendant Kylie Lucero says the new breasts were a gift because her former boss had a lot of money and wanted to help. She's countersuing for harassment. She's accompanied by Troy McConnell.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Bogg versus Lucero.
Thank you, Warren. Brandis Bogg.
Hi, good morning.
You are suing the defendant Kylie Lucero?
Yes.
For $5,000 you say she owes you for a loan.
Correct.
Okay, so why don't we start from the beginning and tell me how you know Miss Lucero?
Well, Kylie and I started volunteering in dispensaries in summer 2011, and then
what kind of dispensaries?
Medical marijuana dispensaries.
Here in California?
Here in California, where it is legal. And then about
What do you mean by volunteering?
Volunteering, we volunteer our services, our time to help serve patients, make sure that they're knowledgeable of the medication that they are receiving.
So you weren't getting paid?
Correct.
And what were you getting in exchange for volunteering?
Medicine. Marijuana.
Okay. And so you have a, right. This is a California audience.
Yeah.
So you were volunteering at the dispensary. In exchange, you were getting medicinal marijuana, you're saying, for
Correct.
free. Why did you need it?
I needed it because I have an immune disorder. I was diagnosed in 2008. The medications that they were prescribing me, it was just not working out for me. I wanted a more holistic way of fixing myself, I guess, and the medical marijuana does do that for me.
And so this was like your full-time, what you were doing full-time volunteering at this
I was doing it part-time. I had a part-time retail job as well.
Okay, and what about you?
Why I smoked?
Yes.
I didn't have any medical condition. We also made tips too.
Okay, so you were volunteering, and did you get medicine as well?
Yes.
But you don't have a
But I
condition.
don't have, no, I don't.
How did you get a prescription if you don't have a condition?
Anybody can get a prescription nowadays. I can say I can't sleep at night and they'll give me a prescription for that.
I see you over there cleaning your nails, sir. You act like you don't even want to look at me right now. Who are you?
I am her boyfriend / fiance.
Don't understand
why don't you have a seat for a second? So the two of you met at a dispensary?
Correct.
You say, and then that dispensary got shut down?
Correct. Yeah.
Why is that?
Most alcohol...
Because she was getting medicine for free? And that's illegal?
Yeah, you would think, but no, the DEA comes in and shuts down. Whatever federally they assign to state police, they go ahead and do because it's a federal order. So it's something that happens between like every year to year and a half of one shop being open.
Were you the only one getting free medicine, or were there others?
There were others.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That's why the DEA came in.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this? Are you aware of this sort of volunteering at dispensaries in exchange for medicine?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Coming up, a half-baked contract causes confusion.
They told me as long as it's written down and signed, then you have a contract.
The witness.
There was a
There
witness.
was
I don't need a witness. She just, hold on a second, sir. She just admitted to the court that she read and signed this agreement.
Yeah,
I don't need a witness. She's the best witness right here.
And later, A lover leaves unexpectedly.
I don't know. I kind of like felt like I was having like a nervous breakdown or something. I mean, I didn't understand what was going on with my body. I was talking
Where did
to
you
the doctor.
go?
I went home.
And you didn't feel comfortable discussing this with your girlfriend, the woman who you'd been living with for almost a year and had been dating for 2 years?
Plaintiff Brandisbog says she wanted to see her former employee happy, so she agreed to let her borrow the money for the new breasts. She's suing for an unpaid loan. Defendant Kylie Lucero says she doesn't owe anything because the money was a gift and not a loan. She's countersuing for harassment.
So after that, she goes to get her old job back at her other dispensary under the boss that she did not like. And that's fine. This whole time, though, she's been talking about getting a boob job. I want to get a boob job. I want to get a boob job.
And you talked to her about borrowing the money.
She begged me.
I did not
more
beg.
than
She
2 to 3 times.
She offered.
She begged me about 2 or 3 times.
Well, tell me about the conversation. Tell me what happened.
She was like, I have $30,000 just sitting here. Like, I wouldn't mind giving you the money for your boob job because I couldn't get financed.
Because she probably has bad credit for not paying other people back.
So what do you say the conversation was?
The conversation was she came over, she's like, I really need this money, like, you know, this and that. And then the next time I visited her, it was like, I only need $5,000. I only need $5,000. Please, I'll pay you back. I promise. It'll be my priority. And honestly, I got tired of her.
Did you ever tell
begging.
her that you had $30,000 sitting in your bank account?
No.
Did you have $30,000 sitting in your bank account?
No,
she offered because she felt guilty.
I did not.
So you're saying that she offered.
Cash.
You're saying that she volunteered to give you $5,000, no strings attached, just because the two of you were volunteering together at a couple of marijuana dispensaries and had become friends?
Yep, I thought she was my friend.
She had offered her multiple times.
You are
I've not offered anybody multiple times.
We lived together, and she told me, she's like, yeah, Brandy offered to loan me the money.
Did you hear the conversation, or are you just telling me what she told you?
No, what she had told me. She said she offered her the money, but she didn't want to have to owe her money.
But did you hear that directly from the plaintiff?
No.
Basically, I got tired of her begging me. I was like, okay, you know what? I can manage. I have enough saved up. I come from a wealthy family. I said, okay, if we're going to go ahead and do this loan, then I want to write a contract that states that you have to pay me back X amount per month.
Where'd you get the money from?
It's something I've saved over the years. I'm privileged. That's all I got to really say. I mean, I know how to manage my money, and I don't pay rent. I'm very blessed. So I figured, I'll help somebody else out. I'm a good person. I put others before me. And, if this is something that she wanted for a very long time, this is over 3.5 years she's been talking about this boob job, then, I'm going to make her dream come true.
So what happened? You gave her $5,000 in cash?
I gave her $5,000 in cash.
Why would you give her $5,000 in cash? I'm just curious.
Because we had a good friendship.
But you say you know how to manage your money and how responsible you are, and I'm just wondering who gives someone $5,000 in cash without getting a receipt, or why would you do that?
I used to do her hair too in exchange for that.
What?
I used to do her hair for free in exchange
prior
for that.
Prior to
you
the
used to
loan,
do her hair in exchange for what? $5,000?
Yeah, for her giving me that money. Yeah. I'm trying to be nice and pay her back
somehow. I would have to do my hair for
$5,000. When she used to pay me, it was $200.
Okay.
And with this, she used to drive an hour and a half to me. She never would specify, okay, it's going to be $70 for this. She would be, I don't know, just pay me whatever you want. So every time
did you get the breast implants?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have a picture.
And do you have any evidence of how much they cost?
No.
How much did they cost?
$6,000.
You used the $5,000 that you got from her, that you say she gave you.
I have the pictures of the before and after.
Do I want to see this?
On the left is before, and on the right is after, which is a very obvious difference.
I mean, okay. So, well, she admits that she got the breast
implants. She's basically flat on the left, and then on the right, she has big old knockers on that side.
Well, I mean, it's not in dispute. She admits
She's always wanted a
boob
job too, so don't let her fool you.
I appreciate the photo, but it's not in dispute that she got the boob job. But the question is, do you have any evidence that this was a loan versus a gift?
I do have a written contract.
You signed a contract?
It was not a contract.
May I see what you have, please? What do you say?
It's on lined piece of paper. It was a joke. Yeah.
I mean, I come from
There's no lawyer. There was no.
So just because it's on a lined piece of paper, you're not taking it seriously? It's a joke, and I shouldn't take it seriously?
I mean, I come from a background of lawyers.
Did you sign this?
She was high when she wrote it, so.
To be honest, I come from a background of lawyers. They told me as long as it's written down and signed, then you have a contract.
Why isn't he here then? Because he's a witness.
I'm asking you a question, ma'am. Is that the document you signed?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a witness.
I don't need a witness. Hold on a second, sir. She just admitted to the court that she read and signed this agreement.
Yeah,
I don't need a witness. She's the best witness right here. She signed it.
It says boot fund.
I mean, this is really clear cut. You both signed an agreement. She loaned you $5,000 on August 17, 2014. You agreed to make monthly payments for a year.
She also said I could
payments
do her
between
hair.
$400 and $450. How many times have you done her hair since you signed this agreement?
4 times.
4 times. Okay, so we're not even near $5,000.
No.
Okay, so to be fair, since you did make this side agreement that she would do your hair in exchange for deducting some of the money from the $5,000, here's what we're going to do. And she did your hair 4 times. So I'm going to deduct $800 for your hair services. What is your counterclaim for $1,000 for harassment about?
For her harassing me for her money?
Asking for the money?
Yes.
Okay, I see no evidence of harassment, ma'am. So your counterclaim is dismissed. Judgment in this case for the plaintiff, $4,200.
Plaintiff Andrea Hughes says her ex-boyfriend played her from day one. So it was no surprise when he broke their lease months early. She's suing for unpaid rent. Defendant Brian Bailey says his ex-girlfriend told him she'd cover the remaining rent and is only demanding the money because she's angry about their breakup.
Andrea Hughes?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant Brian Bailey?
Yes.
For $2,400 for unpaid rent?
Yes.
So as I understand it, you're alleging that the defendant did not pay 3 months of rent last year, October, November, and December?
Yes.
At $800 per month? That's where the $2,400 that you're suing for comes from? Okay, so why don't we start from the very beginning and you tell me how you know Mr. Bailey?
Okay, I met Brian in the beginning of 2012 at our local college. We had a couple of classes together. And despite our age difference...
What is the age difference?
I'm 37 and he is 51. We pretty much hit it off and we started dating. And we dated for almost 2 years when we decided to move in together.
Okay. And what do you have to say, sir, about how the two of you met?
It was, like you said in the beginning, it was good. Everything was going nice. You know, we hit it off intellectually.
What were you studying at the time?
Television and film.
Okay, and so you had a few classes together, and the two of you dated for 2 years before you moved in together?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, in January of 2014, we moved in, signed a 1-year lease agreement.
Both of you were on the lease?
Yes.
May I have a copy of it, please?
Sure.
And was this a 1-bedroom apartment?
Yeah, it was a 2-bedroom with a den, yes.
Okay.
He signed the lease and
what
we
was the
agreed
agreement
to
in
pay
terms of who would pay?
50-50.
Is that true?
50, yes, that's correct.
And what was the total amount of rent?
$1,600.
Okay. Got it.
And everything was going fine until about September. I had a couple of classmates come to me and inform me that I wasn't the first one in school that Brian had seen. And in the beginning of our relationship, he was seeing another student there.
Coming up on Judge Faith, the lovers reveal more about their relationship.
Actually, she was just jealous and insecure. If I talk to anybody, I was like doing something. If I talk to a woman, I'm cheating. If I'm talking to a man, I'm gay. I mean, she was just doing all kinds of stuff, you know?
Plaintiff Andrea Hughes says her ex-boyfriend walked out on the lease and their relationship. She's suing for unpaid rent. Defendant Brian Bailey says he doesn't owe any money because his ex-girlfriend agreed to cover the rest of the lease.
2 years later, at the time, they pretty much told me that it was in the beginning of our relationship that he was seeing someone else.
Oh, at the same time?
Yeah, at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I questioned him about it. And, of course, he denied it. He said that the men who told me that, they just wanted to hit on me, and the women just wanted to cause drama.
Was it true what they were telling her?
No, it wasn't. Actually, she was just jealous and insecure. You know, if I talk to anybody, I was like doing something. If I talk to a woman, I'm cheating. If I'm talking to a man, I'm gay. I mean, she was just doing all kinds of stuff, you know.
So in 2014, you both are still students at the school, at the same school where you met?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're hearing this and you approach him about it?
Yes. And pretty much I didn't have sketch in stone evidence, so I just put it in the back burner for a moment.
Were you being insecure?
No, I wasn't. You know, I wasn't insecure at all. That was the first time that I approached him with anything as far as cheating or other women or anything like that.
Okay.
Once I put it on the back burner, October the 1st, I came home from work and Brian was gone. He moved his stuff and he was not home and he moved out.
Why would you do that?
I had enough. It started in.
So if you're dating someone for 2 years and you've lived with them for 7 months, you just pick up in the middle of the day, pack up all your stuff and move out without giving her the tiniest bit of closure?
I was trying to talk to her about it. I had been trying to talk to her about it, but she just wasn't hearing me.
What, a disappearing act? You were going to tell her you were going to pull a disappearing act before you did it?
No, actually I was trying to talk to her, but she wasn't hearing me. And it was a lot of things going on with me at the time. So
you just left?
Yes.
No warning, no note, you just packed up your things and left?
That's correct.
Like a coward? What was going on?
I was having some physical. In September, I had helped some friends move, and then I ended up having like a cramp in my back, and I ended up massaging it out with the massager, and it went down into my leg, and then it turned out to be like deteriorating disc and sciatic nerve, and I was just in a lot of pain. We weren't engaging in sex a lot and stuff like that. She thought it was that I was seeing somebody else, and it wasn't that at all. I was really trying to figure out what was going on with me, you know.
Did you know he was having some physical issues?
Yes, I knew that he was going to the doctor.
Despite that, why is the solution to that picking up and moving in the middle of the day?
I don't know. I kind of like felt like I was having like a nervous breakdown or something. I mean, I didn't understand what was going on with my body. I was talking to the doctor.
Where did you go?
I went home.
Where's home?
Wisconsin.
And what is your condition now? Is this something that's been resolved?
It's still going on. I mean, I'm going to the doctor every month now.
And you didn't feel comfortable discussing this with your girlfriend, the woman who you'd been living with for almost a year and had been dating for 2 years?
I did talk to her about it, but she just wasn't hearing me.
What I actually think is true, Your Honor. I think he was cheating, and when I questioned him, it shook him up a little bit, and he ran. And that's what I believe.
So you leave, you stop paying rent, but you think he's coming back?
For at least in the beginning of October, I still was thinking that he was coming back.
And that would be okay with you?
It would have been okay because I needed the rent money. I wanted him to come back and take care of his responsibility at home.
Why do you not think you owe for those 3 months, sir, if you were on the lease and disappeared in the middle of the night like you described here today?
Well, when I was there and after I told her what was going on with me, she told me that it would be okay. She told me that she would take care of it for, at that time. I mean, during the relationship, it was times where I paid more money than she did.
I'm not asking you about those times. I'm asking you about October, November, December, which you're obligated to pay half.
At the time, she said that she was going to take care of it, and then I told her, once I got back on my feet and everything, that I was going to help,
Okay, did you ever do that?
No.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
Are you in a relationship now?
No.
Where do you live now?
I'm staying at different families' houses.
In Wisconsin?
Yes.
What do you know about his current living situation?
I just know he moved back home. I do know that there's an ex there. I believe that's where he's at, but I have no clue.
Okay, based on everything I've heard today, you haven't given me a valid defense as to why you don't owe for 3 months of back rent. Even if the two of you were to enter into a new agreement where she agreed to pay for the rent and cover those expenses, I would need to see that in writing because his lease is in writing. In order for you to amend a written lease, you'd have to amend it and agree to it in writing, and I don't have that. So that's the first part of my ruling. The second part of my ruling is I do not believe that she told you you did not have to pay rent for those 3 months. Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff, $2,400.